Hi guys, so I'm going to do a book review today on two books that I've read in the last 2.5 weeks. And I know I haven't done a book review in so long, and it took me forever to get through this book. So last time I did a book review, not last week, but a few weeks ago, I did a book review. And I did a book review on a Beverly Lewis Amish book called The Bridesmaid. And I told you guys that I had another book that went along with the same series, but I didn't know which order it went. I didn't know if the one I read was first or second or whatever. So, this is Home to Hickory Hollow series. There's only, I think, 2 in this series. I'm not really sure. This is called The Fiddler by Beverly Lewis. And I really didn't like this book either. I mean, I think it's just because, you know, when you get, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get to like a certain author in only one genre, and then you read somebody else's book, another author's books that are in that same sort of genre, you really don't like it because you're always comparing it to the person you're used to reading. So I don't like Beverly Lewis's books because they're really boring to me. They're really boring, and most of the stuff is just like filler space. I don't know if that's even a word, like filler space, where she has to fill up the chapter or something and she just adds like random stuff into it. There's 42 chapters in this book, plus an epilogue and prologue, so that's 44 chapters in this book. The reason why I don't like her prologues in this book, I mean her epilogues in these 2 books that I read that go along in a series is really unimportant because nothing really needs to be explained at all. And it's like some books, like why do you need a prologue or an epilogue in some books? Because some of the books I've read, the epilogue and prologue are so unimportant. So this book is longer. It's thicker than the other book. It's really thicker than the other book I read. The other book was Bridesmaids, and I told you before, I didn't know which book came in order because I noticed that they were both from the same sort of series, Home to Hickory Hollow, and I didn't know what sort of order it went in because so far there's only 2 books unless there's more to the series, I don't know. And it never says what order it should be in. Should it be this one should be first or the second one should be first that I read? I don't know. So The Fiddler is actually the first book in the series, and The Bridesmaid is the second part in the series, if it even is a series. There's only 2 books in this series so far. At least I think there is. And most of the characters that were in the second book, in The Bridesmaid, are in this book. And it's sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of weird because it's about a love kind of story between like a normal person, a normal Englisher like Amish people call ordinary people like us watching this video, and an Amish person. And it's sort of weird because it goes in and out, and it's sort of like these characters don't know what to do with each other. I don't really know how to explain it. But Beverly Lewis, I don't really think she's a good author. I mean, people probably like her books a lot better, but I like Wanda E. Bronsetter. I don't really know how to say her last name. I always mess it up, and I probably say it like a trillion different times differently. But I really don't like that book or her books. Like, I wouldn't recommend getting her books. I mean, Wanda E. Bronsetter her books are small, and they come in series. I don't know if that's even a word. Different series, and they're all about different people. But each series is about the same people, but different family members or friends. I guess if it's hard to explain it like that, I don't really know how to explain it. But it's sort of like that. And her books are really small, like, the chapters are really short in most of her books. Like, if you get, like, a 3-in-1 book set that I have over here on my bookshelf that you can't really see, the chapters are really, really short in it. Like, some, like, in the smaller series books that she has, like, small little books. The words are really big on the page, and they're only like 10 chapters long, usually, and they're really small, and I don't think there's an epilogue in it. But yeah, these books, the Beverly Lewis books, those books, some of the stuff is just like, it's unimportant to read. And some of the stuff, it's just, some of the content in the chapters just contradict themselves a lot in that book. So I really just don't like it. That's why it probably takes me a while. So if I don't really like a book, and you haven't seen me do a book review in a while, and I do a book review and I tell you don't like the book, that's probably why I don't get through a book fast enough. So if I get through a book fast enough, it's because I enjoy reading it. But when it's like a book that I don't like, I'm just like, why waste my time reading this book? But I have to finish it to know how it ends, because I'm going to do a book review on it. So the other book that I have, I can't really show you because it's on my mom's Kindle, and she's using it, so I can't really show it to you. So a couple book reviews back, I did a review on Danielle, Paige, Dorothy Must Die. And there was a prequel to that book. And I read that prequel after I read this book. And that prequel, I forget what it was, something with Oz in it. That's like the title, something Oz. I forget what the first couple words are. But yeah, and then it was Dorothy Must Die, and then her new book's going to come out in March. But her prequel to that book came out in this month, and it is a waste of money. Like, don't buy it, guys. Like, Danielle Paige, I love her 2 books so far. But Dorothy Must Die is like a series, and it's like, it's so much different than watching The Wizard of Oz. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie much. It just takes up where she comes back to Oz. I mean, where she comes back from being in Oz. So the prequel to that book is The Witches Must Burn prequel to The Witches Must Burn book that comes out in March. And I never found the Dorothy Must Die book by Danielle Paige in Walmart or bookstore. I found it at Target. And the prequels I found on the Kindle, so you guys know. And the prequels were only like $2 or $3 or something like that. And the chapters are really short. I think in the Witches Must Burn prequel book, there was like 15 chapters. There was an excerpt from the Dorothy Must Die book. There wasn't a prologue in it. The chapters were really short. And I think there was only like 1 or 2 chapters that were really, really long. But it was just the ones where they had to explain things. So in order to read the prequels, the first prequel that I mentioned, the whatever it was, the Return to Oz or whatever it's called, you have to read before you read the Dorothy Must Die book by Danielle Paige. But this prequel to the Witches Must Burn book, you have to have read Dorothy Must Die first to read the prequel, because you wouldn't understand, I think, most of it if you haven't read it. So it's really complicated to read it, because if you read the prequel to the Return to Oz and the Dorothy Must Die, you have to read Dorothy Must Die book before you can read the Witches Must Burn book, even though the Witches Must Burn book prequel should go with the Witches Must Burn book, which is really confusing. So, yeah, and I told you I didn't really like it. So, I don't know. But it's sort of like, why did she have to have a prequel to that book? Because it's if you read the Dorothy Must Die book, then you know that what happened in the prequel towards the end already happened, because the person that the prequel was about to the Witches Must Burn book, she explained it all in the Dorothy Must Die book. I don't know, it's really complicated. I don't even really understand what I'm saying, but yeah, so read that book. Go check out Danielle Paige, Dorothy Must Die book at Target. I don't know how much it was, maybe like $13, I'm not really sure. But that book's really good. She's a really new up-and-coming author, and her book's really good. I mean, it's way, way different. It's like a revamped version of Dorothy and what Dorothy's like when she comes back to Oz, which is really funny. So I'll see you guys next time with my November